Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live lesson on the order of operations. I hope you all have had a great week turning in your assignments. Thank you so much for reaching out to me when you have questions. Definitely, I'm always here to help. So before we started, I asked you to give me one success that you've had in this class this week. You've typed that into the chat box. Great. I'm so happy to see so many of you have had some great successes this week. Thank you so much for sharing. Now we're going to get started with our live lesson on the order of operations. So before I have everyone go in and complete some group activities, we're going to do some review on what the order of operations is. So I'm sure that many of you have heard the order of operations is PEMDAS. So that's an easy way of remembering it. Some people in elementary school have thought of it as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Some people just remember it as PEMDAS. But it is one good way of remembering the order of operations. However, knowing those letters is one thing, but being able to put it into use, that's another thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, let's break apart what PEMDAS stands for. So can anyone tell me what the P stands for? That's going to be parentheses, otherwise known as grouping symbols. So they could be parentheses that look like this. Sometimes if you have a really long expression in algebra, you could have parentheses that are actually brackets. Still means the same thing. It's still a grouping symbol. We just refer to all of these collectively as our parentheses. Then we have E. E stands for exponent. So an exponent would be something like 2 to the third power or 5 to the seventh power. That would be next in our order of operations. Now I want to talk about multiplication and division because sometimes people get this confused. So definitely pay really close attention to this. When we talk about multiplication and division, so the M and the D in our order of operations, we have to think of it on the same line. So really the M and the D are the same step. It's the multiplication and division, whatever comes first from left to right. So let me explain that again. The M and the D are the same step. You do whatever comes first from left to right. So if it's division first from left to right, just like you're reading a sentence, that would come first. We'll do some examples in a minute. But I want you to start thinking about that, multiplication and division from left to right. The last step in the order of operations is addition and subtraction. So our A and our S, again, from left to right. So it depends on where it's at in the problem. Multiplication and division from left to right, just like you're reading it. Just like you're reading a book, left to right. Addition and subtraction, just like you're reading it, you complete it from left to right. So let's look at an example. Let's do an easy one first. If I have 4 squared plus 3, let's look at the order of operations. P is first, parentheses. Do I have any parentheses here? No, I don't. E is next, exponent. Do I have any exponents? Yes, I do. I have that 4 squared. So 4 squared, if we're going to evaluate that, that would give me 4 times 4, which is 16, plus 3. I don't have any other exponents. I don't have any multiplication and division. I do have addition. I have 16 plus 3. It's my last operation. That's going to give me 19. So 4 squared plus 3 simplifies into 19. So let's look at another example, one that's a little bit more difficult. Let's say we have some parentheses in here. All right, this one has a couple more steps, but again, if we take it step by step, you're going to be fine. So let's see that we have parentheses. Do I have any parentheses? I definitely do. I have in parentheses 4 times 3 plus 1. But I have two things in the parentheses. So we have to break that down. If I have two operations, I have multiplication and I have addition, we're still going to use the order of operations. Multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction. So we're going to do that multiplication. 4 times 3 is 12. I still have that plus 1, and I still haven't gotten rid of my parentheses. And remember from our last lesson on simplifying expressions, we only do one step at a time. And remember, I underline the steps as I do it. So if I make a mistake, I can always go back and pinpoint exactly where my mistake is. Next, I'm going to look at my order of operations again. We start. Do I have parentheses? Yes, I do. I have my parentheses 12 plus 1. That gives me 13 minus 2 plus 5. All right, I don't have any more parentheses. I don't have any exponents. I don't have any multiplication and division. Now I have addition and subtraction from left to right. Remember, addition and subtraction, same step, whatever comes first, left to right. So looking from left to right, I have 13 minus 2. That gives me 11. And I add 5. So we did the subtraction first. Now I have my last step, 11 plus 5 gives me 16. So my expression in parentheses, 4 times 3 plus 1 minus 2 plus 5 simplifies to 16. Does anyone have any questions on how we got that one? Keep in mind as we're working, using those steps. If you need to underline as you go, excuse me, if you need to highlight, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do, but make sure you're following those steps. Next, we're going to work together in groups. We're going to go into the breakout room to work on a couple of questions. I'm going to have you pick up the audio yourself, talk to each other, explain how you got your answers, come up with a good response. One of you is going to write the response, and one of you is going to talk when we break out in 10 minutes. Thanks. Let me know if you have any questions.